Good morning, everyone. This is Shannon Scott with Grave Talks and many things in the world of taphophilia, which is, a healthy mental passion. It sounds like a mental illness. Maybe for some it is, but not for me and many of you out there who love cemeteries. You know the disease. And here's a part of our sickness: places as beautiful as Oak Hill Cemetery in Evansville, Indiana. Ladies and gentlemen, I've lived the taphophile lifestyle for over 30 years, let me tell you. I've seen them in many countries where, they're beyond exquisite, in Italy, Germany, all the rest. But in the world of Victorian American cemeteries, Oak Hill Cemetery of 1853 in Evansville, Indiana is an absolute treasure. Major kudos to any private cemetery that can manage to stay even afloat and keep a place like this in such great condition in the 20th and 21st centuries. I mean, this is a different money era. The money's not worth as much. The Victorian sense of ritualism, all the rest, is well gone. But it still feels alive in Oak Hill Cemetery. So I'm just so elated to brag on them. This is very much a hilly cemetery, which is kind of traditional to those in, let's say, Indiana, Illinois, Kentucky, not Illinois so much, sorry, that's where I'm from. But you have these wonderful hillscapes, and it's like in Savannah, Georgia, it's obviously, flat, and you can see from one side of the cemetery to the other. You kind of know where you're going, what to expect. In these situations, it's more of an adventure. You have to really kind of be willing to wanderlust. Obviously you have to be a little more in shape, kind of thing, especially when it's hot like this in the summertime. But it's like, what's around the corner? Like the song goes, to see what we can see, to see what we could see. So it's very much that. And I'll tell you, Oak Hill Cemetery in Evansville more than satisfies. I came up for a funeral in Western Kentucky where I have family, and I wanted to stop along and, capture some highlights from area cemeteries. So I haven't had a lot of time to delve into the history of this one in particular, but if you go to the Oak Hill Cemetery and Arboretum website, there's some fabulous reading there. So I highly encourage it. You can see the price of a pretty day here. Crazy tornado-like hail weather recently. So this is the place of the sunny day today. A lot of these grand old trees, the junipers and others, they cracked over last night. But isn't it amazing that the monuments have kind of withstood the test of time? That's a near miss. But yeah, the cemetery workers have quite a day ahead of them. And there's the trusty buzzard mobile that takes me from one dead town to the next. My trusty steed, the buzzard mobile. The Civil War section, hundreds of soldiers here. Wonderful old, period cannon. All the posts. Very much inverted cannon to show the close of, let's say, an era, a war. Obviously showing a mourning of the soldier lives, and even some real cannonballs stacked down there in a pyramid. But at the very top of this cemetery, Oak Hill, you have, I think the height is 490 feet. So you really have this wonderful view of the landscape. And, you can spend hours here. Again, 175 acres, 1853. There we see St. Dorothy doing her thing, coming off the mount, scattering flowers to show the return of Christ and all that type of promise. But we have a bit of a story destination in mind this morning, which is running theme here in my life. Another cemetery doggo, and he is a mighty, mighty big dog. But this is the Bedecker family plot, which has exquisite art tied to it, and literally irreplaceable for the most part. I'm not sure where that granite came from. I mean, Indiana's got quite a connection to uh, things funerary. Its own stone quarries historically. It's still the largest manufacturers of caskets and urns in the United States. Uh, I'm drawing a blank on the company name, but it's here in Indiana. I think it's $1 billion annual business. But this is the Baedeker plot, and we see it looks like kind of a Mary figure, possibly a Christ figure up there. Nope, it's another kind of maiden, but pointing towards heaven. So, a little bit on the secular side. Holding the tree of life that's broken, but certainly pointing to heaven for the promise. But we really are focused on Thomas Baedeker, his wife Betty Lou Baedeker. She was 97 when she died in 2013, and he died in 1994. Ripe old age too. Looks like he was in his maybe 82nd year. But this is their trusty dog, and this is a big bronze statue, massively bolted. I understand that either it went missing or it was damaged, and there was some story about some repair that had been done. So how wonderful that they were able to correct things, I suppose. But Beowulf was a German Rottweiler, and he was very beloved by Betty Lou. And Thomas was an airplane engineer, so he did very well, obviously. And Betty was I would call her a socialite, but I don't know much about her, so apologies to anybody that actually knew Betty. We don't mean to, I guess, lessen her status or anything, but she hung out with actresses and actors, like I think Celeste Holm was a good friend of hers. But this was maybe the best friend, good old Beowulf, and he looks like a Beowulf, man. You don't want to tangle with those chompers. But check out this collar. I mean, if you were going to hold him back, that's the type of, let's say, bridle you would almost need to hold Beowulf back. And he definitely was producing some puppies from his hindquarters. They did not rob him of his Rottweiler producing jewels there. So he's very lifelike. I hope he made some good puppies and they live today in generations, Beowulf. But gang, we just wanted to share a brief glimpse of the Oak Hill Cemetery. What an achievement in landscaping, art, and it is still surviving today and so worth a visit. So yeah, if you're in Evansville, Indiana, come check out one of the great American treasures of cemeteries. You'll be absolutely happy that you did. But I hope you guys have a great 4th of July. Celebrate America.